everybody. Welcome to another week of Maker's Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin Blondie, and thank you for joining me for another week of step-by-step paper crafting. I'm really excited to have you join me here today where we say goodbye to some of our favorite in colors from 2019 to 2021. Now let me just make sure that I am live here on Facebook so I can follow along with your comments. If you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everybody is joining me from each week. If you're watching this via replay here on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, make sure to comment replay and let me know that you're following along with me today. Now, for my two projects this afternoon, I'm going to bring you some projects that feature the 2019-2021 in colors. Now, why are these colors so special? So each year, Stampin' Up! Debuts 5 in colors that stay around for 2 years. Now, these colors complement our core color families that we have all the time. So they're just a special release of in colors and ink pads and all these coordinating products that go along with these colors. Now they stay around for 2 years and then they retire and we are not able to get them again unless Stampin' Up! Decides to bring them back into our core color families later. So today I'm bringing you these products because they are going to be debuted on our retirement list that comes out March 24th. Now you may be saying that's a couple weeks away. Why would I be showing you these projects and these products now? Because if you don't have these items in your craft room and your craft stash, now is the time to get them. Once they hit that retirement list, these are the items that sell out quick and they go first. So you definitely want to make sure if you don't have these colors in your craft room, you're going to want to add them. All right, so it looks like I'm live. Hello, everybody that's joining me. Thank you for watching. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and switch the camera here. As always, I have a couple quick announcements before. So if you are a member of my newsletter, you saw that this past week I debuted my Your Kit, Your Way class. Now this is a really fun class and something brand new I've never done before. So it's called Your Kit, Your Way because we are featuring one of the 3 all-inclusive kits from our catalogs. We have one from the January through June catalog and 2 from the annual catalog. Now these kits are perfect for all skill levels, from beginner to advanced. The best part is that they come with everything you need to create the projects that you get to choose your kit. So the name is called Your Kit, Your Way because we are gonna have you order your favorite kit, and then I will include 4 alternate projects to create during our Zoom event at the end of this month. So I want to show you some of the projects and then show you one of the kits that's actually my favorite. So the first one is the Simply Citrus card kit. This is from the annual catalog, and these projects are really cute. I made these cards when I had visited some family last summer, and we had a variety of ages and skill levels that were in this event. So this is a perfect kit if you have kids or if you are a beginner crafter, and if you're more an advanced crafter, you can step these projects up with more ribbon and embellishments, die cuts, however you like. So these are some projects. I let everybody else create all the other fun Simply Citrus projects, so they went home with these really fun projects here, and then I made these with my kit pieces as well. So this kit class comes with full PDF or full in color instructions, step-by-step on how to make this. It comes with a stamp pad, which this one is Night of Navy, a full stamp set, all the cards and embellishments, and coordinating envelopes to create these projects. So this is the Simply Citrus card kit. Now, if you're into more masculine cards, the Looking Up card kit would be perfect for you. Now this one has really fun foil embellishments to this kit. And it does have some other pieces that you can pop up with dimensionals to make these projects more 3D. But these fun foil pieces really make the project shine and shimmer, and these are perfect for masculine recipients as well. So this is the Looking Up card kit. This one comes with a Bermuda Bay ink pad, a full stamp set, and all the embellishments, coordinating envelopes, and the foil paper pieces as well. Now my favorite kit, this one is from the January through June mini catalog, and it's called Hello Dear Friend. And I have the kit and I want to show you all that it includes, but here are some fun projects, and it has these really pretty copper foil and vellum pieces in the kit. And I have to say, this one right here, the You Make My Heart Smile card, this one is my absolute favorite from the entire kit. Now it has these foil pieces here that are already die cut for you. So all you have to do is stamp on them. Very simple. As well as these die cut vellum pieces that have that copper foiling on them. Very, very pretty. The kit comes with a Misty Moonlight ink pad. All these kits come with a clear block too. So if you are a new crafter and you don't have any clear blocks, this is perfect. It has everything you need. A full stamp set, some dimensionals, this really fun copper thread, and then coordinating envelopes and pieces for the projects. So this kit is in the January through June catalog, like I had mentioned, and it's called the Hello Dear Friend card kit. And this class, the registration deadline is coming soon, this Saturday. So if you are interested in attending the Your Kit Your Way class, I will post the sign up details on the description of this video after, or you can send me a message and I can place your order for you. So any way is easiest for you. You get to choose your card kit and I will send you 4 coordinating alternate projects for this event. And we'll make the projects together via Zoom so you get that as well. So I am so looking forward to this class. I love our kits. They're perfect for all skill levels and I'm super excited to create those alternate projects with you. All right, today we are creating some projects featuring the 2019-2021 in colors. Now these are your Rococo Rose, Terracotta Tile, Pretty Peacock, Seaside Spray, yes, and Purple Posy. So these 5 colors have been around since our debut in 2019, and they will be posted on our retiring list coming in 2 weeks. Now, if you are new, each week I do a prize patrol, and last week our prize patrol prize was the Wink of Stella glitter brush. Now, how do you get entered into prize patrol? All you have to do is share this video and comment that you shared, and then you're automatically entered for prize patrol. It's that easy. Very fun, very simple. So make sure you comment that you shared. Sometimes Facebook doesn't let me know everybody that has. So our winner from last week was Candy Hansen. So thank you, Candy, for sharing my video, and congratulations on this week's prize patrol. Well, last week's prize patrol was the Wink of Stella glitter brush. Now this week I had high hopes to bring you a Purple Posy ink pad. Now if you're not too familiar with what Purple Posy ink pad was, Stampin' Up discontinued this ink pad, so it's very hard to get a hold of. But I thought I had an extra, but unfortunately I don't. But this week's prize patrol is a package of Pretty Peacock 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I love this color. This is my favorite color out of all the in colors that are retiring. And Pretty Peacock was like the perfect color for Christmas cards. and I am so sad to see this go. So if you are interested in signing up for this week's prize patrol, just make sure to share this video and comment that you shared, and you can be entered to win an elusive pack of Pretty Peacock cardstock. Now, why do I say elusive? Because some of our in colors are already on back order, and when the retirement list debuts, I'm not sure if Stampin' Up! Is going to release these because some of them may be on back order already. So if you are wanting these in color products, grab them now. And make sure to use this month's host code when you check out to receive an extra prize from me in the mail for your order. All right, our two projects here today are these ones that we're gonna create with our in colors. I really like this card, this black and white card, because there's actually no stamping on this card at all. It's quick and easy to create, and you don't have to do any stamping at all. We are gonna create this basic white cards here first. And as always, I provide a free weekly PDF with all the details of the projects that you can print off and follow along with this video to create your projects at home. This PDF has the item name, product description and price, plus the dimensions at the bottom for each of the projects that we're going to create today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So this card features the Tasteful Texture embossing folder. And so we are gonna use our large embossing machine today because these will not fit through the mini machine. So our first piece is that we have a piece of basic white cardstock cut at 5.5 to 8.5, and this is just a piece of regular cardstock cut in half and scored down the middle. We're gonna set that off to the side, and I have another piece of basic white cardstock, and this is cut to 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. That's my standard mat size for my projects, and we're gonna emboss it with this Tasteful Texture embossing folder. All right, let's get out our die cut machine here. And like I mentioned, we've got the big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine today because this folder will not fit through our mini machine. Because we're embossing, we're gonna use plate number 4. It has, all of the plates have numbers on them, and you can tell which sandwich to use because it has pictures on your base plate. So we're gonna put our plate number 1 down, our piece of paper with our embossing folder. Now, what I really like about our embossing folders is this black line right here at the bottom. I use this as a guide to ensure that my paper is straight. So I line up my paper onto that line. Make sure you guys can see that. And then I'm gonna run that through my machine with my crease of the folder going in first. This is the best way to run your folders through the machine. And you're just gonna run that through. And it's gonna emboss our paper. This Tasteful Texture embossing folder is really fun. You can see it kind of creates just a subtle texture to the paper. Not anything too heavy embossed. Let's move that back over. And we can bring in our supplies for this project. So there's where we're gonna be working on. I have pieces of the in color cardstock. Purple Posy, Seaside Spray, Rococo Rose, Terracotta Tile, and Pretty Peacock. I have die cut a piece of basic white cardstock, and this is with the Stitched So Sweetly dies. We are going to use Stampin Blends markers. Now, all the in color products that you see here are going to be on the retiring list. So these are all items that are going to retire. And then these are the, let me get the names of these. I think these are just matte enamel dots from the annual catalog, and this will be on the retirement list too because of the Purple Posy dots there. All right, we are gonna use our paper trimmer, and because I'm gonna use Stampin' Blends, I'm gonna cover my workspace here. So I've got my grid paper And we're gonna come in with our paper trimmer and we're gonna cut our diagonal strips of paper here. What I'm gonna do is I've just got scrap paper of this cardstock. This card is great to use scrap pieces of paper. You can use so many different colors and varieties with this, and it's a great way to use up scrap paper. So I'm just gonna take my cardstock and I'm gonna cut these at 1/4 inch for each one. So you've got these little strips of paper that are 1/4 inch, and we're just gonna do that 5 times with each color. Now, this would be a great Christmas card if you have lots of red and green paper that you need to get rid of. This is the perfect way. You could just cut a bunch of strips while you're watching TV. It's very simple to do, and then you just can glue them all down and you've got your background. All right, so we've got our purple posy here at 1/4 inch. And we've got our long strips. Now you want longer strips of paper for this because you want them to hang off of your card. And then we're gonna trim the edges up so it lines up. So we're gonna come in with our embossed piece here. And what I do is I like to line everything up first and then glue it down. Once you line everything up, then you can ensure that everything is lined up before it's glued and then you can't move it. I like to start, because we have 5 colors, Pretty Peacock, I like to start in the middle, and I'm just gonna lay that from one corner to the other. So I'm gonna put that down first, and then I'm just going to build my other pieces on top of that. And this part doesn't have to be perfect, you just want to lay everything up first and then glue it down. I'm going kind of in a rainbow order. I know these aren't your traditional rainbow colors, but this is what I'm gonna start with. And I'm gonna go with Pretty Peacock Purple Posy, and I'm gonna take my liquid glue, just a little bit of liquid glue. You don't need a lot because it's gonna hang off the edge, so you don't want it to have too much glue and then it gets stuck to your workspace. And then from there, we're just gonna build up onto our project. And so we've got a little bit of glue here. And glue that down. And you're just gonna make sure everything is lined up onto each paper. And then you can move these ones out of the way because these are already glued down, so you know that those ones aren't going anywhere. And then just a little bit more glue on the Pretty Peacock. I'm so sad this color is going away. We used to have a color called Island Indigo, and it is very close, but Pretty Peacock is a little bit darker than Island Indigo. But Island was my favorite color that we used to have. And some people may ask, well, why does Stampin' Up! Get rid of these colors? It's because they want to keep their color offering fresh. If we have the same colors over and over, we're not going to be super inspired. So these colors, these 5 colors come out every year in addition to our core colors, and they complement our core color families. Okay, so we're just gonna make sure that's all lined up. And then I like to use my bigger pair of scissors for this part, where we're just going to use our white card base as our guide and just snip off those ends. You could use your paper trimmer if you want. I just find that it's easier to cut using scissors for this part. Of course, depending on what size your strips of paper are, the paper trimmer may work just a little bit easier because they're bigger pieces to trim off. All right, so we've got our diagonal pieces of cardstock all trimmed up to our piece of basic white cardstock. And now we're gonna go into our stamping and our coloring. I can put these away. So like I had mentioned, I have this die cut piece of basic white cardstock, And what I'm using is this Dragonfly Garden stamp set. This is from the January through June mini catalog as well. And I'm using this really big piece here. I want to stamp that first and then come in with my sentiment, because then I'll be able to see where I can put my sentiment after I've already stamped my large flower piece here. I need my big clear block letter I for this, and we're just gonna use Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Because we are using Stampin Blends, that's why we're gonna be using Tuxedo Black ink. And we're just gonna ink that up and stamp that to the left on our die cut piece. I'm stamping it more to the left so that I have room for my sentiment. And I need a baby wipe just to wipe off on my, because my grid paper is laminated, I don't want to get ink all over the rest of my project. All right, and now we're going to come in with our sentiment. Because we have this stamped first, we can see exactly where we're going to line up our sentiment at. This one says "For a True Friend," same stamp set. This is great because it not only has images, it has sentiments, but this set also has a coordinating punch, and I'm going to use that on our second project, but it's a Dragonfly Punch, and it's actually a two-part Dragonfly Punch, so you get 2 for 1 with that punch. All right, now Stampin' Blends. Like I had mentioned, these are all gonna retire, but there's only 3 colors of Stampin' Blends for these in colors: Rococo Rose, Pretty Peacock, and Seaside Spray. Now you may be asking, why is there only 3 in colors for Stampin' Blends? Why aren't all of our in colors offered? Now Terracotta Tile, which is this like orangey color here, this is actually very close to our Calypso Coral, and we have Calypso Coral Stampin' Blends. So if we had offered a light and a dark in Terracotta Tile, it would be very similar to our Calypso Coral. And the same thing for Highland, or Pretty Purple Posy. We have Highland Heather, and so we have the light purple there as well. So we just have 3 colors in Stampin' Blends. That's, if you were wanting to know why, that's why. All right, I'm going to use the dark Rococo Rose, and I'm just gonna quickly color in the flower part of this here. Now Carol asked, where did I get my grid paper laminated? So actually one of my Stampin' friends, Linda, I think she's watching, maybe now, she usually watches, she got this laminated for me, I think probably at like, what is it, Office Depot, Office Max, Staples, wherever they do laminating services, you can take a piece of grid paper and get it laminated. And it's great because everything just wipes right off of it. You don't have to worry about getting spills and stuff. It just wipes right off and you can reuse it. All right, so I'm gonna use my light Pretty Peacock on these little flowers here. Now I'm not coloring in the entire image. You can see on here, I left a lot of the flowers white. I just wanted that little peekaboo of color from our Stampin' Blends. Plus, I didn't want to get all of the Stampin' Blends out. You could really color all of these in using just your normal Stampin' Blends colors, but I wanted the colors to match that diagonal cardstock that we did. Plus, I just wanted that quick peekaboo of color for that. And then the final part, the light Seaside, I just did these little poof balls down here, and I didn't even really like stay in the lines with this. I just kind of quickly went over them with the color just to give it that wash look. And then the final one, the dark Seaside on these little poofs there. And that's it. A quick color. You don't have to color in the entire image with your Stampin' Blends, but I used those 3 different colors for my piece here. All right, so let's get out our adhesive. I'm gonna use regular Stampin' Seal on the back of our embossed piece, and we're gonna adhere this to our card base. And then with this die cut piece, I'm using Stampin' Dimensionals. And if you really want to get fancy, you can do Wink of Stella on the flowers to really make them stand out. But I just left them as is. I felt like just a simple color wash really makes them stand out. And then as my final touch, these Playing with Patterns matte enamel dots. And we're gonna use the purple posy ones on here. Now, like I had mentioned, these are definitely on the retirement list, even though we don't know, we haven't seen the retirement list just yet. Because purple posy is in this, this will definitely retire. But here's our first project featuring the 2019-2021 annual in colors. I really like this project. I like the way it highlights the colors, but it's not bright and overwhelming. So I hope you like this first project. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope you guys like that one. All right, let's just clear some of this off and we can move on to our next project. And we're not using Stampin' Blends, so I can move that out of the way. Now, our next project, like I had mentioned, features no stamping. This is all die cut and punches. So we've got, just get a drink of water. Okay, we've got a piece of basic black cardstock. Elvis is over here letting everybody know that he's joining us today. My husband just came home, so he heard the alarm when the door opened. So we've got a piece of basic black cardstock. This is cut at 4 1/4 by an 11. So this is an easel card. And today I'm going to use on this project the 2019-2021 In Color Designer Series paper. So each year Stampin' Up! Puts out Designer Series paper in our color families. And I love this paper because it has this really like 1970s look on it. And then the other side has this fun just script font on it. I'm also going to use the well-written dies. Now these dies are from the annual catalog and they're perfect because you get so many different sentiments. Now, when I first got this set, trying to read this font backwards was a little difficult. So what I did is I wrote what the words were on the sheet that the die cuts come on. It's easy to tell which one goes where, and I can read the words which you know, they coordinate with each other, and I don't have to, you know, flip it around and try to figure out what it says. So just a quick tip, if you have the well-written dies, you can write the words next to them and easily find your die that you're looking for. So we are going to use this one here that says thanks, and I'm going to put that off to the side because we don't need those. And then I am also going to cut my pieces here, and we're gonna cut these at 3 1/4 by 7/8. So I'm gonna get my my trimmer out. So I'm cutting them so my pattern will go this way. It's gonna go lengthwise. So I'm going to cut this at 3 1/4. And I'm gonna cut them all down to 3 1/4 and then cut them all at 7/8 at the same time, just so I know that my patterns are all going the same way. So 3 1/4. Now you may notice I use my trimmer upside down. For me, it's easier to see the numbers when they're closer to me. So I use my trimmer upside down. It's a little strange, I know, but it works best for me. Plus then I can line everything up on my numbers down here as opposed to up here where they're a little more difficult for me to see. Great. So I've got all my pieces cut at 3 1/4 wide, and I'm gonna line them all up, just stack them together, and then I can cut them all at the same time to 7/8. It's a quick and easy tip. This Designer Series paper is not very thick, so you can cut all 5 of these pieces of paper at once. So we're gonna line up here at 7/8 and just kind of hold it down, and it cuts all of your papers at once. So an easy way to do that. All right, so we've got our die cut piece here. I've got another piece of basic black cardstock. Now you don't really see it on this paper, but I can show you it's the same size as right here. And I did this because I want my designer series paper to be popped up. So there's a little bit of height right there. But when you do tone on tone, it just kind of blends into the background. So what I'm doing is I'm going to line up all of my designer series papers to this part, and then I'm going to adhere that to my card base. I want to line everything up on this piece before I glue everything down. So we've got, just to make sure that our spacing is okay, I like to line it all up first and then work my way from like top to bottom or bottom to top for gluing everything down, just to ensure that my spacing is good before I do anything. See, if I had just lined that all up with just gluing it down, everything would have been all off center. So we're just gonna move it all so our spacing's good. Candy, you need a new trimmer. Yes, the Stampin' Up trimmer is awesome. It comes with some scoring blades too. I took my scoring blades off though, just because I was thinking I was cutting, and then I would accidentally score. So I took the scoring blade off. But the trimmer is great. I love that the blades stay sharp, so much better than our previous trimmer. They're actually machine sharpened compared to our previous trimmer where the blades were hand sharpened, and those did not stay sharp for very long. So this new trimmer, I have had it since it came out, maybe 2 years ago, a year ago. But I really like that I have not had to change out the blades as often. I think I've maybe had to change them out 2 times, and I use my trimmer a lot. So I prep for classes with it. I use it for prepping for Maker's Monday. So it definitely gets its workout, and I have not had to change my blades as often. So very fun. Becky, I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that uses their trimmer upside down. I thought it was just a strange thing that I did. I don't know, but I like using it upside down. It's just, plus the arm is on the left-hand side and I'm right-handed, so it really helps me get that all on there. All right, we are gonna use our dimensionals on the back of this to adhere that to our card base. And like I had mentioned, because it's that black on black cardstock, it'll just fade into the background of the card, and all you see is that designer series paper really stand out. So people won't really even know that you have that additional piece of cardstock there. So it just kind of fades into the background. Now this project, I debated, I could not decide if I wanted to create it going a regular easel card or landscape mode. So I'm actually going to create this project in landscape mode today, so you guys can see it's the same card, just turned different direction, and how fun this can be. Right, we are going to use the Story Label Punch. This is from the annual catalog as well. And I thought I had some basic black cardstock. So let me grab some really quick here. Black cardstock. Thought I had an extra piece, but here we go. Basic black cardstock, and we're just gonna punch that out. There we go. And I like the Story Label Punch. This is from the annual catalog, like I mentioned. We're gonna use dimensionals on the back of that. 2 dimensionals will work there. And we're gonna put that on to the right-hand side of our project. And I'm using, like I had mentioned, that Dragonfly Punch. This is from the January through June catalog, and you can actually bundle it with this stamp set. So this punch, the big Dragonfly punches out these two here. And then you have this little extra Dragonfly, which is really fun, to create these little pieces down the side. So I like the little Dragonfly pieces. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna punch out one from each color. When it's upside down, it's set up like the old trimmer. I loved the old trimmer. In fact, I still have it. I just didn't like how often I had to change out those blades. I still have my trimmer, but definitely try it upside down. If you haven't, I mean, if you're right-handed, it's so much easier. And, you know, you just have that arm on the left-hand side and it doesn't get in the way. As you can see, I was punching upside down so that my pieces don't go flying all over my craft room. So you can just punch and do it upside down and your pieces will fall right onto your workspace and you don't have to worry about them going all over the place. All right, for placement, what I did is I started here at the top of the card, and this is Pretty Peacock, and I just went with the color right below it. So Pretty Peacock, and then I went Pretty Peacock, Purple Posy, Rococo. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. So I'm gonna do the Seaside, and my Pretty Peacock's gonna go here. Go down the row with purple. We've got Rococo and Seaside. Now Seaside spray really grew on me. I mean, I don't really craft too much with like a baby blue color, but this color really grew on me in the past few months. I use this color a lot in my Sand and Sea retreat that I'm prepping for right now. And it was really fun to use this color when it's normally not something I would have crafted with. So being able to try something new and just craft with colors that you normally don't use, I like the in colors for that too. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of liquid glue on these. These are super tiny dragonflies, so you can use liquid glue or our fine tip glue pen, or even glue dots would work for these. But I find that just a little bit of our Tombow liquid glue works perfect. All right, now our sentiment. Like I had shown you, we're gonna use the well-written dies. And I wanted to show you a little tip for these. Now these dies are very thin, intricate words, and your paper can get stuck in these. So a tried and true method that I use that you probably have in your kitchen, wax paper. This is perfect for using with intricate dies. It doesn't stick into your dies and it doesn't rip your paper out. And most of us have this in our kitchen, but I keep this roll in my craft room. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut a little piece of wax paper, and I'm going to use just a scratch piece of basic white cardstock. I'm gonna bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and these dies you can use the mini machine. I just didn't want to get out two machines for projects, so we're gonna use the big machine for this today. Because we're die cutting, we've got our base plate number 1, our plate number 2, and there's pictures and how to do this on the machine. It comes with all of these. Our cutting plate number 1, we're gonna put down our piece of basic white cardstock, and over that, we're gonna put the piece of wax paper. Now this is not gonna get into your die. It's not going to make your die sticky or anything, but the wax paper just holds it away from the die just a little bit so it won't get stuck and rip your paper when you try to take it out of the die. All right, so let's take that out and I will show you that out of the way. So we've got our die cut piece, our wax paper, and then you can just take your pick tool and poke through. Just be very gentle when you poke it through. And it just pops right out. And there's gonna be like a little layer of wax paper. You can just take that off and throw that away. And there is your die cut word. Very simple to get out of the die, and you don't have to worry about it ripping your word. So just a quick and easy tip. Wax paper, cheap, you can get it at the dollar store. This is so easy and a great technique for popping out these really intricate dies. Now for this, you can use our fine tip glue pen. You can use our adhesive sheets to do this, but I'm just gonna use a little bit of liquid glue. I'm not gonna put it on the entire word. So I'm just gonna find key parts of the word where the font is a little bit bigger. So in the middle of the N, there's a part here on the K, and I'm just lightly dabbing my word, the die, just to give it a little bit of tackiness to the back. You don't need a ton of glue. With this, actually, if you use too much glue, it's gonna mess all over the place and ooze out. So just little dabs of glue will be perfect onto that. So there's our sentiment. And then one last final touch is this little embellishment here. Now these are from the frosted and clear enamel dots from the annual catalog as well. And what I did is I took my dark Pretty Peacock Stampin' Blend marker, and the best thing about these is that you can use your Stampin' Blends to color them whatever color you want to coordinate with your project. I like to use the brush end for this, and I just take it and run it right over my embellishment. The more you layer on the color, depending on how light or dark your Stampin' Blend marker is how it's going to pick up that color. So you can use this on rhinestones, you can do this on really any of our embellishments that are clear, and then it'll change the color and it dries instantly. So you don't have to worry about it getting all over your fingers. Because our Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based markers, they dry very, very quickly. All right, so here is our second project. I just kind of altered the project for you to show that you can create this in both the landscape and portrait mode, depending on where your mood is for creating this project. All right, so let me bring in our other projects from today so you can see them. Let me know which one is your favorite. And I hope you enjoyed this week's Makers Monday. So thank you once again for joining me for Makers Monday. I look forward to seeing you next week as I create some fun and special St. Patrick's Day projects, since we will be celebrating that next week. Now in 2 weeks, there will not be a Makers Monday, and you may want to ask why. I will be taking a much needed vacation and spending some time with my best friend. So I look forward to seeing you next week for a special Makers Monday with some really fun St. Patrick's Day projects. And I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you next time. Bye.